I find out this morning that Steven Crowder has made a video accusing me of extortion. It's unbelievable. I'm going to show it to you guys. It's actually unbelievable. And I fully believe this is a man that is on such a spiral. It is just shocking to me that any person cannot see exactly what he is right now. Lots to say about that. So first up, let's talk about Steven Crowder. A lot of you guys have probably seen his live stream this morning where he brings me up. So we're going to have to respond to that, obviously, because he makes some pretty heavy implications and insinuations in his video that are so patently false that it's shocking to me that a man with his following would be stupid enough to put this onto a platform. So let's first back this up in case you don't know who Steven Crowder is. It's totally plausible. He sort of lives on the internet.
Steven Crowder. Man, we are going to talk about it today. You know, I got a lot to say on.
How you guys doing? Welcome to Cash's Conversation Corner. You just reached my corner of the internet. Now, today I'm going to be going over a little bit of the Steven Crowder situation. I'm going to give you guys kind of my view with a little bit of help, and here we go.
Going on. So let me just pull up his Wikipedia and introduce y'all to this brother right here, Steven Crowder. Now, who is Steven? Who is Steven Crowder? Let's see here. Stephen Blake Crowder, born in 87. He's a young buck, an American-Canadian conservative political commentator. All right. He's been around the block. He worked for Fox News. He also started Louder with Crowder, which was a daily political podcast. And he has a YouTube channel. He's best known for Change My Mind, in which Crowder invites passerbys to converse. I don't know if y'all saw that. There's a meme of him, right, sitting on the street with a table and like a one of those big those cards, right? Those poster boards where it says "Change My Mind," right? So he's worked for Fox News, big podcast. Now he's had some, and he's got the YouTube channel. Says his channel was demonetized over some political stuff, and then it was remonetized by YouTube. Then it was demonetized again. YouTube suspended his channel again 2 weeks last year for violating the harassment, threats, and cyberbullying policy. His channel has almost 6 million subscribers as of January. And now he is moving to Rumble. You know, a lot of us don't really know too much about this gentleman here, but he's famous. He is super, super famous. A young cat, only 35 years old, tens of millions of dollars. He just turned down a $50 million deal. I mean, he's turning them down.
Internet. Steven Crowder is somebody who has a show called Louder with Crowder, who had something very terrible happen to him at the end of last year. The Daily Wire came to him with a $50 million term sheet. He was offered $50 million. I know. Now, why are we talking about him again? Well, when in closing back in January, I essentially said that we were no longer going to talk about Steven Crowder, and I instead offered that people should pray for him because obviously, when a man does something like that, he is broken. You don't do something like that to your friends unless there is something going on in your personal life.
All my children have a right to privacy.
Please respect please respect my privacy as we go through this rough time. Didn't you just secretly record one of your best friends of 10 years and then air it out for all the public to see? Well, he wasn't expecting privacy. Well, a lot of y'all might know him from his Change My Mind series. And, you know, I'm gonna change some minds today. And if y'all think y'all are with it, y'all can change my mind. But I've got some stuff to say. And the way that he's thinking about his marriage or his preceding divorce is it's unhelpful and it's damaging and it's very common. And a lot of you think about y'all's marriages and divorces this way, and I want to clear it up once and for all.
But needed to take a moment here to address some issues out there that are circulating. It's never fun. But, well, I guess let me be clear here. I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now.
Okay, so in the open, you get it. Steven Crowder is a victim. Once again, he's always a martyr for his belief. He's always a victim. And this time, it's the proverbial boot on the neck. He's literally George Floyd. So the idea here is you need to feel really bad for Steven Crowder right away because he's got a boot on his neck. Well, Steven Crowder announced this morning that he is going through a divorce, and I want to show you bits of that video. Take a listen.
Threatened by this, the 2-year-olds? Listen, I'm gonna play it right now. Y'all tell me. This is super weird. But let's get it. Let's get it. Let's see what he says.
In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, they also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. Well, my children have a right to privacy, and she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children. And I will say that what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation, certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns. I will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect my children. Discussing the divorce any further on social media or on this show or in any public space is not what's best for them. I'll be handling this through the proper legal avenues and channels available as a matter of record in which I have more than full confidence. So I'd ask that you understand the need for and respect our privacy in what is obviously a pretty tough time. And I hope that none of this has to go any further than that.
Wait. Is it me or is it just virtue signaling? My children are blameless. Your children are 2 years old. Obviously. Like, my patience is short. I've been a divorce attorney for too fucking long. Maybe you guys can sit through this and it's all good. Guys, my true north is that my 2-year-olds are blameless. I haven't talked about this divorce because of the physical safety of my kids. The true north is that my kids are blameless. Your kids are 2 years old. I'm sorry. Let's get back to it.
So much that I want to say here. First and foremost, if you're a person that watches his show, how do you not see that he is so obviously acting and that he is a very bad actor? Do you feel bad for him when he says that? When he says, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion.
So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well.
Extortion?
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Steven purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
And I want to tell you kind of what I see as a 20-year attorney. Let me pull up this video. We're going to watch it right here, and I'm going to commentate through it fair use. I'm going to give you some of my commentary, and, you know, as a professional, you don't know who I am, mucho gusto. I am the lead attorney, a 20-year divorce attorney down here in Atlanta, Georgia. So we are going to watch this video, and we're kind of going to see what his thought process is about his divorce. I also want to say this, guys. This man is a mover and a shaker. All right. He just got offered and turned down a $50 million deal. So he doesn't want a lot of people in his business. But guess what? Nobody really does. Nobody wants everybody all up in their business when they're going through a divorce. Now you'll have people on YouTube, people on the media, people on podcasts, and they talk about other people all the time. But when it comes to them and something happens, what's the first thing they say?
We've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless.
Not the fault of they're 2 years old. How the hell is anything going to be your, whatever. It's starting to piss me off. You guys are saying shit like you chose incorrectly, and then you're hiding, not you guys. This dude is hiding behind his fucking kids to do it, which is entirely unacceptable.
I picked wrong. Wow. How kind, how loving. You really must have loved this woman, Steven Crowder. Again, I don't know who's buying your act anymore. I certainly haven't bought it from the very beginning. It's very obvious to me exactly what you are. You come across to me as a very dishonest individual. It seems to me, Steven, that you really, for whatever reason, want to insert me into this narrative. Like there is just something about me that you are hyper-focused on. And so I want to help you a bit. And really, I want to help your wife because you essentially just used your platform. Millions of people have access to your platform. She doesn't have the same, to insult her. You picked the wrong woman, okay?
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. He says he picked wrong. All right. Now, there's no picking right. That's right. I said it. I said it. There's no picking right.
Not Hillary Crowder. I am not anybody in his family. I am not going to take somebody going onto his platform and alleging that I either harassed, threatened, or did anything that would put his children at risk. That is very serious stuff that he is saying.
In the best interest and physical safety of my kids. That was so weird, but keep listening. Count how many times he brings up his kids.
Now, in all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault, and so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so.
He says, listen, my kids are blameless, so we're going to resolve this privately. We're going to resolve it privately because my kids were blameless. What if his kids weren't blameless? What if his kids were not blameless? What if he had 17-year-olds and they were to blame somehow? If his kids are blameless, so he's going to handle this privately. If his kids were not blameless, then he's going to handle it. I can't sit through this shit, man, but this is what I want to point out. This is going to be the point of the whole stream. I've been listening to men talk about their divorces for 20 years. When a man hides behind his kids, something is going on. Just rewind it. Go all the way back to the beginning. You'll see I call this shit out. Oh my God, she's 8 months pregnant. He's verbally abusive and extremely, oh my God. You are not arguing with a woman with an 8-month belly. Oh, I thought you loved these kids so much. You gonna make her stroke out. I wouldn't, never is a strong word, but it would take a lot for me to be arguing with my wife when she's 8 months pregnant with my kid inside her. I could not understand why he was hiding behind his kids so much, because this is what he did not want to come out. Did y'all remember how much he was hiding behind the kids, the safety of his kids all the time? He even went to say the physical safety.
All right, that's Cash's take on the whole situation with a little bit of help from those guys. Part 2 is going to be the video with the Ring camera, and then I'll get a little bit more help from Stevie Knight and Lead Attorney, and also Fresh and Fit. I'm going to throw those guys in there as well, so look forward to that. I'll have that in a couple of days. Otherwise, you guys keep the conversation going, and I'll see you next time.